The biggest box office draw in the transfer portal chooses to come to Westwood, and UCLA hopes this marriage of convenience will zap one of the most diseased offenses in the country back to life. Hi, I'm James the Faithful Angelino Sports with a season preview for UCLA football. If you enjoy talking about the Bruins, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We talk UCLA football almost every day here, even with the media blackout orchestrated by the coach, but I digress. Look, at this time last year, I was telling anyone who would listen that Deshaun Foster would have a grace period with the Bruins. Even if we had no idea he could coach, all he had to do was to open up a life-size poster of Chip Kelly, point at it and say, "I'm not him." That was going to buy him some time. Now, 1 year later, we still don't know for sure if Foster is the solution at coach. But we have learned at least one thing. He's not stupid. He's not stupid. UCLA finished 5-7, and much of the blame could actually be laid at the feet of former offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. The Bruins averaged only 18.4 points a game. They were the fourth worst rushing offense in college last year. 132nd. And by the way, your head coach is a former NFL running back. Clearly, Foster knew that needed to change. So he did. Coordinator, running back, and damn sure quarterback. Now, Foster, again, he addressed all three, and we're going to talk about all three. But without a doubt, the impact move was the upgraded quarterback. Nico Iamaleava abandoned Tennessee in a split with almost as much turd as the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Yeah, there was drama. But you put that drama to the side and it's still a significant upgrade over Ethan Garbers, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. You'd have to go back quite a few years to come up with a UCLA quarterback with as much deserved hype as this guy. Because Iamaleava helped the Volunteers qualify for the college football playoffs last year. He threw for 2,616 yards and 19 touchdowns with only 5 interceptions as a redshirt freshman. Not to mention that there's a little element of luck involved. Had the dude not chosen to come to UCLA, you're looking at a former Appalachian State guy under center. It's obvious UCLA football has not had this level of star power in many years. A guy who could peel a few eyes, and perhaps if he succeeds, more than a few recruits away from USC. They have their leading man. That is a big building block. Now with Iamaleava, though, you're still getting two narratives nationally about UCLA. One, all the coaches' polls suggest the Bruins are going to be one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. And yet, those same coaches are absolutely terrified of facing this new quarterback. An opposing coordinator, he goes and tells ESPN, quote, "That's a kid that is tough as nails. When he runs, he doesn't look to slide. He can sling it. With development, he's going to be one of the top dudes in the country. He's 6'6", tough to take down, can throw every ball," unquote. Now, when you consider how the quarterback is the most important guy on the field, do you really think that UCLA is really a lock to be at the bottom of the conference? Really? Meanwhile, the new offensive coordinator, Tino Sunseri, was pride-free from Indiana, which is not surprising. Foster watched the Hoosiers drop 42 points on him at the Rose Bowl last year. And Sunseri didn't have the quarterback there that he has now. Also, we mentioned the problems UCLA had running the ball. The Bruins then rug-pulled Cal by poaching the Bears' lead back in Javian Thomas. So, you take Thomas, right? An opposing coach is fearful of how powerful Iamaleava is as a runner. Foster closed UCLA practices from the press because he claims that they're going to spill the beans about the new offense. All the beans just spilled all over the place. This is just a guess. It's just a guess. But it would not surprise me to see the run option be a wrinkle in the new playbook. And it also doesn't surprise me because wide receiver might be a little sus. UCLA really needed transfer Caden Robinson to get an additional year of eligibility. The player went so far as to sue the NCAA to get that playing time. Only he lost. He's not there now. CBS is reporting the coaching staff is raving about sophomore Quasi Gilmer, but the dude only caught 31 passes last year. So he's going to start, but who's going to join him? I've read speculation that Titus Mokiao Atamalala will start. Maybe. Maybe it's Mikey Matthews, but he sounds more like a slot receiver based on his skill set. So there's way too many questions. Again, it suggests that they're going to run the ball. UCLA also relied heavily on the transfer portal to recreate an offensive line. But man, there's instability. The LA Daily News just a day ago reported that Sam Yoon, who would have been one of only 4 returning starters on the offensive unit, lost his center gig. Yet UCLA, yeah, it's a ton of change, but the line got significantly bigger. The Daily News projects the average weight of the 5 projected starters to average at 324 pounds. So they may not have experience, they may not have continuity, but yeah, you're going to have to push a lot of weight to try to get into the UCLA backfield. Last year's line didn't even average 300 pounds. Looking at the defense, I think it's fair to say Ikeka Malloy outperformed expectations in his first year as defensive coordinator. And so what did UCLA do? Well, they rewarded him by dropping 9 starters. Gone. 9. If I'm Malloy, I'm like, thanks for the help, guys. Totally appreciate. The linebacking, the secondary, completely rebuilt. Now, here's the plus, though. The defensive line was ranked among the top 6 nationally in run defense for the last 2 years, right? And their entire defensive scheme in the last few years was predicated on the defensive front. So the 2 returning starters are on the defensive line. That's CLA Taupaki and Devin Aupiu. Now, if I were to guess, because I'm not going to sit there and claim that I know who's going to start at corner. The practices have been closed off. It's all speculation. Same for linebacker. If I were to guess, it wouldn't surprise me to see the Bruins run a lot. It would be a way to kill clock. It would be a way for the wide receivers to kind of get their bearings so that maybe later in the year, Iamaleava can start throwing the ball with a little bit more abandon. It damn sure is going to help the defense. There are just far too many questions on that defensive unit otherwise to forecast anything. So, in total, UCLA upgraded in very clever ways, but the headliner, the name on the marquee, he comes here without the quality of the roster he had in Tennessee. I still think, though, that this Bruins team is way better than the 5-7 team from last year. Moreover, I'd say this is a bowl team. I really believe that. But just getting to a bowl, is that really going to be enough, right? For this team to beat USC, for this team to reach a bowl that you actually would want to travel to go see, hell, for this team to finally average more than 50,000 people for a home game, Iamaleava is going to have to level up. Huge. Now, if he can, UCLA reaches a level of relevance that they haven't enjoyed in more than a decade. The last time this program was considered top 10, it was a preseason poll in 2014, the Obama administration. If not, well, we're going to find out if Jimmy Kimmel still has a bowl game. So if you enjoyed this preview of UCLA football, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelinos. We'll be following the Bruins almost every day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. Faithful Angelinos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.